Hey, everybody. I'm finna invite Whitney on. She's gonna be co-hosting with me tonight. Oh, there she is. I'm so excited to have y'all on here. I'm excited to go over content marketing more with y'all. Last night, we went live on Instagram and we talked about how social media marketing and email marketing actually work together to help you build out a sales funnel, and how those processes, kind of coordinate to actually drive sales. So I'm excited to kind of continue the conversation here, and talk about content marketing more. So, hey, Whitney.
Hello, I'm excited as well.
Let's see, how you doing? You getting settled in?
Yeah, I'm on my way home right now, so I'll be settled in.
Okay,
but I'm ready to go.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna do kind of like a brief introduction. I know you guys probably know who I am, but I do want to give you like a little bit of a recap. And then I'm going to dive more into the community that we have launching tomorrow, which is called the Content Marketing Community. I've been talking about it for a few weeks, so I'm not sure if you heard me talking about it on the timeline, but I'm excited to give you some more details with that. It's launching tomorrow at 1:11 p.m. Central Time. So my name is Tala. Everybody calls me Ty. I am the marketing bully. I have been doing digital marketing for about 7 years now. I started specializing in email marketing about 3 or so years ago. And one of the reasons why is I did social media marketing with small businesses, creators, and influencers for years. But something that I would always see is that I can help you drive website traffic and I can help you grow your following, but they didn't understand what to do with that after, right? Like, they didn't understand the next step. It's like, you went viral, but now what? You drove the website traffic, you didn't get as many sales as you wanted, but now what? Or, you got this campaign and you're excited about this opportunity and it kind of got some traction, but you're not sure of how to kind of like push that along and actually turn it into your own community. So that's kind of like what motivated me to get into email marketing, to help them understand how to make that transition. Now, with the content marketing community, I'm going to be, kind of holding your hand and walking you through email marketing for a beginner. And we're going to go over things like how to make an email strategy, how to format your emails, the different part of emails, the different part of actually telling a story via email, how to get people to engage with your emails, how to design emails, try to answer as many questions as you have, connecting you with the best resources that I know of, and helping you grow your confidence in email marketing. Another part of that's going to be going on in the community is Whitney is going to specialize in the social media marketing aspect of it as well. You want to share a little bit about what you plan to be doing in the community?
Yes, so I'll introduce myself really quick. My name is Whitney. I am a social media strategist. I have been doing this full time for past couple years, pretty much since COVID. But I have a background, a degree in public relations, so I've always kind of had my hands in marketing in different aspects and PR. But thanks to COVID, I went full-time in being an entrepreneur, helping people with their social media strategy. And Tyler and I met and we put together this community. And it's funny because someone had just commented on or replied to one of my tweets saying social media and email are best friends. And that's like, the idea for the community was going to be for social media, but it just makes perfect sense to put the two together, because while I help people grow their audiences, the next step is like, how do you keep in touch with that audience? And that's where the email component comes in. So I'm really excited for people to be learning. We're going to go over how to make your content, how to repurpose your content, how to effectively be on the different platforms. Different platforms, have different formats and different content styles that work with audiences, down to the details of, how to, like, the technical side of how to repurpose your content, how to edit it, all of those things as well.
thank you for that amazing introduction. We are going to allow y'all to ask questions, but we're going to save the questions to the end. We'll dedicate about 15 to 20 minutes to questions. So if you do get some questions along the way, make sure you write them down. Also, feel free to DM me your questions. I will check my DM periodically while we're doing this Twitter space. So you do have the opportunity to kind of get it answered in real time, and then we can follow up with it at the end. So the structure for this Twitter space tonight, we're going to go through some of the most common questions that we get asked about content marketing, about creating content, and just about social media marketing in general. So one of the first questions I want to touch on is, what is content marketing and what does it mean? Do you want to go over that, Whitney, or would you like for me to go over it?
I'll just say briefly, and then I'll let you go over it. Just my take on content marketing is using content in any form to drive traffic to whatever it is that you're promoting. If you're on YouTube and your YouTube videos are getting you leads to your website or to your services or your products, that would be considered content marketing. If you're making a TikTok or an Instagram post and you're letting people know about what you do and you're promoting yourself, and that's driving you sales or getting you traffic to your website, that would be considered content marketing. That's the best way that I could put it, but I feel like you'll probably have a more in-depth explanation.
Okay, I do think you gave a good brief overview. I'm going to dive into it a little bit more. So in my experience of working in digital marketing, content are pieces of material that you put out that represent your brand message. They position your offer in front of your potential customers. They are what get people initially interested in your brand, right? And content, there are different types of content for different stages that your customers are at. So you will have some content that's just meant to teach people something. For example, teach them how to use a product or introduce them to a problem that they subconsciously have, but they never actually thought about it in a conscious sense or even thought that there was a solution to that problem. Another type of content that you might make may be to just show people your brand's personality, whether you're funny, you're relatable, you're authentic, y'all have the same beliefs around sustainability and recycling and saving the planet, right? Like, the type of content that's personable, that makes people like you. That's the type of content. Another type of content that I would like to add on to that as well is storytelling. And that's going to be a huge part of your journey as a small business owner, is figuring out, like, what is my brand story? What defines my brand? What direction do I see my business going in? And what are, like, my dreams and aspirations surrounding this to get other people to buy into it? That storytelling content is going to help you with crowdfunding. Getting people to see how passionate you are about your brand can help you raise money, can help you go a lot further than kind of just keeping all of that into yourself. So those are just like some different points that go into content and how it works together with marketing. Do you want to add anything to that, Whitney?
No, I think you did a pretty good job with the overview. I don't have anything else to add.
Okay, and for everybody who just came in, I do want to let you guys know we're going to save questions to the end. So if you do have any questions, feel free to DM me, and I'll try my best to get to your question in real time while we're kind of going over a few different things. So, you know, in understanding all of those things, I do want to go over how can content marketing actually help you drive sales. Well, it's pretty simple. When you are someone who is perceived to be authentic and personable, people will naturally just want to support you. Whether that means that they are supporting your content by liking it, sharing it, commenting on it, and helping it being driven in an algorithm and just helping you raise brand awareness, or they like what you're doing so much that they believe it and they're bought into it and they want to give you their money. So it depends on what you were doing specifically, what you're selling, whether it is music, art, a product, or a service. That's how content can help you drive towards your goal. It's going to help you grow a following. It's going to get people to learn more about you. and get well acquainted with your brand and what you do. But when you start creating that targeted content, that educational content, being the hero in someone's story, explaining to them how to solve even the smallest problem in their life that nobody else or nobody other company is trying to solve, or maybe they're not trying to solve it in the way that you're trying to solve it, but helping people really buy into like the solution of what you offer with your content is another way that content marketing can help you drive sales. So when you think about how content marketing can help you drive sales, right, then you kind of start to think about, but how will I have time to make content? And how can I make content without burning out? And how can I be present on every platform without spending all my time every week to make that content, right? A big part of that is going to be batch creating your content. If you sit down and you try to make content every single day, you're going to burn out. If you sit down and every time you make content, you're just throwing ideas out there, but you have no real strategy behind that, you're going to burn out. And by strategy, I mean, you haven't set goals. You don't understand why you're making the content that you're making. You're not outlining what that content is going to do for your business, how it's going to drive a customer through the sales funnel, how it's going to help them connect with your brand. And instead, you're just kind of sitting down and you're like, oh, well, I'm going to take these product pictures. I think these are good pictures, and that's how I'm going to promote my new product. But that's not how you do a product rollout, right? And when you don't set those proper goals to go into planning your content, you get frustrated. You get upset, you have unrealistic expectations, and you start setting ideas around what should happen without doing any real research that goes into it. So I would love to hear your input, Whitney, on the burnout aspect when it comes to staying consistent with your content.
Yes. This is one of the questions I get asked the most is, how can I stay consistent with my content without burning out? How can I batch create? One of the things that I do is I work with clients one-on-one with helping them with their content strategies. And in doing that, I realized that not only do people need content strategies as far as what content to make, but people need a plan as far as how are they going to get the content done and be consistent. Whether that looks like, if you work a 9-to-5, that might be setting 2 to 3 hours aside on the weekend to batch create some content, or it might be, picking a whole weekend out of a month. I wouldn't do that because I think that I don't think you should plan content that far out. But batch creating is going to look different for different people and what your schedule is like. But like for me, there's times where I was picking up my daughter from school and I'm in the parking lot and I had an idea or some things. And so I just quickly recorded 4 really short reels while I was sitting in the car, saved them in my drafts. And then later on during the week, when I'm busy and I don't have time to record, or maybe I'm not presentable for the camera, I could just pull up one of those videos that I had recorded before, put some text on it and post it. So batch creating can look different. I don't think there's a one size fits all approach. It really depends on your creation style, what your schedule is like. For some people, it has to do with your mindset too. Like, you can't be effective showing up on camera if you're not mentally in the right space. And if you know that you're a person whose moods, you're not always in the right mental space to be making content, then it might not be actually picking a certain day of the week. It might just be going when you feel good and you feel like showing up on camera, recording all of the ideas that you have and getting them all out the way, so that later, if you have other stuff to deal with later on in the week, you can pull from that bank of stuff that you've already recorded and you don't have to worry about it, and you can still show up consistently on social media, even if you're not consistently making that content every day.
So there's one thing that you said that really stood out to me, and it was that the type of content you make is going to depend on your content style. Can you give some examples of different content styles to kind of give people ideas of what they could be?
Yeah. So for some people, I always try to help people find what I call low energy versions of content, because there's people who I worked with who they produce beautiful content, great edits. They put a lot of time into it. But if they work a 9 to 5, they can only do so much of that. And so then it's leaving them with not posting very often enough to stay consistent. So I like to put a mix into that. So different content styles could be recording some B-roll type footage and throwing a tweet that performed well on Twitter, throwing it on top of that video and posting it as a reel. It could be you sharing some thoughts, sharing a word of the day, sharing some inspiration, sharing just an idea that you have that you want to share. I do a lot of those. And when I get ideas, I'll record like 4 or 5 of them at a time and then just save them. It could also be recording, B-roll or behind the scenes footage of you working, and then you can always save that later to put text on the screen. So it really depends on what your goals are, what type of audience that you have. If you're a music artist, that might look like just setting up the camera and letting it roll while you're in the booth working, and then you can always cut that up into different things. Something that I've been doing lately that's been working for me is I've been doing a lot more lives on Instagram, and doing the lives, I used to not want to do the lives because I didn't know what to talk about, or like maybe not a lot of people are going to join. But when I realized that I can save those lives and I can cut it up and repurpose it as content, it was a whole game changer. Now I have I'm motivated to go live, and I save that, and I don't even have to really record that many reels for Instagram anymore because I'm mostly posting clips of my lives, and then that's also promoting my next live. So it really depends on who your audience is and what your goals are, but it doesn't have to always be a full production.
All right, I think that was a wonderful explanation. Up until this point, we've talked a lot about video content, but I do want to let you know, like, if you're not one of those people that you absolutely cannot commit to making videos, like you mentally cannot do it, another type of content that you could really consider doing is either podcasting or blogging. And one of the reasons why with podcasting, you're not on camera. It's not about how you look, it's about how you sound. Can you paint a picture? Can you tell a story? Is your voice memorable? Is your voice captivating, right? Those are things that play into podcasting. And if you are not confident enough to do podcasting, then consider doing blogging and learning search engine optimization, because you can create content for the Google algorithm, and Google will send free traffic to your website in the same way that social media will. You just got to learn how to do keyword research and learn how to optimize your blogs. I shared a lot of content over how to do that. So if you want to check out some of those things, go to my website and look at my blog. There are some guest articles on there from different experts about SEO. Also, click the link in my bio and check out my podcast, because I've interviewed 2 different search engine optimization experts, and one of them even worked at Wix. He used to be the SEO director at Wix, right? So if you really want to learn, I highly suggest starting with those resources, and don't get discouraged just because we're talking about video marketing. We're talking about video because video is the hottest thing out right now. And it probably will be for a long time because of how interactive and engaging it is. But video is not the only means of marketing your business. It's just one form, and it's super easy to use and repurpose in other lights. So I just want you to kind of keep that in mind. Now, in terms of going more into like how to avoid burnout, I really want to talk to you guys about batch creating content. I'd love to hear you define what batch creating means to you, Whitney, and go a little bit more in detail. Like, I know one example you gave was kind of like going with the flow of like how your moods are and recording content in that day instead of trying to, narrow down one weekend every month that you're going to be making content.
Yeah, just because I never like to tell, I'm not the type of person who does well with rigid schedules. Like, for example, I'm very much a night person over a daytime person. Everybody has different ways that they work. And I have talked to people where they've told me that, a lot of times, mental health is real, and we have to show up on social media as far as marketing our businesses, there's a lot of people who wouldn't be on social media if they didn't have a business or something to promote. They don't really like showing up in front of the camera, or they don't even, not even if it's showing up in front of the camera, but just the energy exchange of social media in itself can be draining, the stuff that you encounter when you're scrolling. So in those cases, batch creating can just look like making as much content as you can when you have the energy and you're in the right mindset to do it. But what you can do, if you don't always, like when you're waiting to be in the right mind state to make the content, what I'll do is I'll keep a running list in the notes of my phone. And as I get ideas, because sometimes I might get ideas and I'm laying in bed and that's not the time to execute it. So I'll just put a note in the notes app on my phone so that when I am feeling inspired to get up and make a bunch of content, I can pull from that list and I don't have to think of something. For some people who have very tight schedules, or they're working a 9 to 5, that might look like you have to actually set aside a few hours for the weekend to get your content done. If we're talking about Twitter content, for me, batch creating doesn't always have to be a huge amount of content for even a whole week. There's been times, I found success by just planning out my tweets for the next day. Even if you just take it one day at a time, just to get used to batch creating content. And I find that that's an approach that is a lot less intimidating. And I'll tell people that if you just plan out your content for the next day and you see how much of a time saver that was and how much it made your life easier, then you're going to be motivated to create larger batches of content in the future.
I really love your approach and breakdown of what that means, of kind of, going based off your mental health. Because for my mental health, I'm one of those people, I need the rigid schedule. Like, I have to know what I'm doing every day of the week. Or honestly, I just won't do anything. Like, if I don't create a weekly schedule for myself and commit to like doing certain things on certain days or at certain times, it just won't get done. But I know that there are a lot of people who don't work that way. And I think that's kind of what makes us work so well together. We have completely opposite work styles from each other. And it kind of just, makes me be open-minded too about like taking some time off, because if you are one of those people who needs rigid schedules and you need that structure in your life, something you have to keep in mind is that it's okay to veer away from the schedule sometimes. Like, just because you veer away from the schedule doesn't mean it's completely trash. It doesn't mean it needs to throw away. And just because you did something one quarter doesn't mean you have to continue doing it the next quarter. In fact, you should be reviewing your data for all your content, like on a 30-day basis, to see like what worked and what didn't work. Because the things that didn't work, if you really want to do it, then try it again, but try to change things in what you're doing. And the things that did work, keep doing that. And you'll find that like if you keep cycling out methods and strategies and different content types and content forms, you'll eventually find at least 2 or 3 different types of content that are easy for you to make, that are low stress, and that don't involve doing things completely out of your comfort zone. But that will definitely come later on down the line. So in working with Whitney, we've really talked a lot about like the different tools that we like to use, tools that have made creating content easier, and whatnot. And I've learned about a lot of tools from her. Do you want to share some of the tools you like to use?
So one of my favorites that you actually just introduced me to, and I tried it out for the first time, setting it up last night, is what's it called again?
Tweepsmap.
Yes. So I just started using that. I just tried it out for the first time. And the reason why I tried that out is because, like I said, I was scheduling tweets, and that was working very well for me. But with scheduling tweets on the Twitter website, the only downside, even though you can do it for free, that's the plus. But the downside is you can't schedule Twitter threads. So I tried Tweepsmap for the first time, and it worked. It's very easy to use. I'm excited to see what type of data that it gives me. I think I have to have used it for like 7 days to really be able to see that. But as far as scheduling tweets, it's amazing. And if you are somebody who uses Twitter heavy for your content strategy, I would recommend investing in that. If not, you can always schedule tweets on twitter.com for free. You just can't use the app. You have to use the actual desktop version. But you just type in your tweets, and instead of hitting tweet, there's a little calendar icon at the bottom, and you just schedule it out instead. So that's one. And then two, I've played around with different actually like scheduling apps. The only downside of these third-party schedulers is that they will not auto-post unless you have a business account. I work with a lot of creatives, and I like to be able to use songs and music in my content. So if you have a business account, those songs are not available to you. Again, I work with a lot of music artists, so it doesn't make sense for them to have that. They wouldn't even be able to use their own music in their content. That being said, even if you use like a Hootsuite, that one's very expensive, but there's more affordable options like Later. You can use those, and even if it's not auto posting your content, what it'll do is you can put your content in it. You put your captions, everything like that, schedule it, and then it'll send you a push notification when it's just time to post it. And then all you have to do is just copy, paste, and post. So if nothing else, you can at least plan it out, but you cannot auto post unless you have a business account. And then also I have other accounts that I manage. So when I'm managing other accounts, and those are usually business accounts, so they can auto post, that's a lifesaver for me when it comes to managing multiple accounts, because I will go crazy trying to manually post for them all every day.
I'm happy you brought up Tweets Maps. If you guys have never heard of Tweets Maps, I highly recommend checking them out. They're a Canadian-based tech company. I interviewed the CEO and founder on my podcast. His name is Samir. He's super, super nice. He does free onboarding calls for people who buy his software. So if you do decide to try the software out, I think it starts at like $20 or $30 a month for the beginner plan, and it does a lot of things. Scheduling Twitter threads is just one feature. There's like over 100 different things that this software does, specifically made for Twitter, and a lot of really big corporations use it, like MasterCard, Visa, a lot of like food and beverage companies, a lot of the companies, restaurant companies that do really well on Twitter. You think they're funny and engaging. You're like, man, they're always here. They always see when we tweet about them. It's because they're using Tweets Maps. Tweets Maps can help you get notifications every time someone tweets about your business, uses your hashtags, or adds you. And I have about 18,000 followers, and I don't even see all of the mentions of people adding me on Twitter. So I can't imagine having, like 400,000, 1 million followers, because they just won't see it. But if it's important enough, Tweets Maps is going to send them a notification if it has keywords. And then it'll also give you like a much more thorough account analysis. It's going to tell you where your primary followers are, who your most engaged followers are, who are they following, who are they engaging with. And as a business, that's going to be important for you to know, because now you know like who are my potential competitors, or who are people that I could potentially partner with to keep myself and my business in front of my customers longer. So I absolutely love that tool. I highly recommend checking it out.
I just wanted to add in and say, in case anybody was thinking about trying it, they do have a free plan, but you're very limited to how many tweets you can use per month, but you can at least try it out for free. And then the beginner plan is actually only $14.99 a month. So just in case anybody was thinking about trying it, it's actually pretty inexpensive. And yeah, those, for me, I went ahead and invested in it because this is another thing that's important at looking at your data and avoiding burnout is you might be spending all this time making TikTok content or reels, And then you're actually getting most of your business leads from Twitter. And you don't even have to spend all that time making video content if it's not the best thing for you and your audience. And with Tweets Maps too, another thing I noticed too is that I think they show you who your most influential followers are as well. So I'm excited to use that a little bit more so that they can get more data and I can see how that works. But for me, I've noticed that while I was primarily on Instagram because that's what I was the most comfortable with, but I actually connect with my audience better and I get better engagement, and not just the social media engagement, but the actual follow through, the actual client inquiries. As we've been launching this community, most of the people who have joined the waitlist we know are from Twitter. So it's like when you are paying attention to that data, that's another way we don't think about of how to avoid burnout, is just look at your data and see which platforms make the most sense for you to spend time on, so that you're not spending time and energy making content for platforms that aren't yielding you big results.
That was nothing but gems, Whitney. So thank you for that. I didn't know it was $14.99. The plan I got is $30. I guess it was some other features I wanted. But I do want to say, if you've been enjoying this Twitter space so far, I want you to tweet about it. Tell everybody to come hop on with us. Share something that you've learned since you've been on here for the last 30 minutes. And then I want you to look at the pinned tweet at the top of this Twitter space and go sign up to be on the content marketing community's launch list so that you can find out exactly what's going on tomorrow for launch day, because we're going to go live inside of the community. We're going to do a private live and we're going to be diving in more, and we're going to go over more of what's in the community and what you can expect. But some cool features that you can expect in our community, right? Like, we're going to be doing these type of lives every week where we're going to be diving in. We're also going to be doing mini workshops. Our workshops are going to be an hour to 2 hours long. We plan to do them 3 to 4 times a month. And then we also will be giving you like weekly homework assignments that are community based, so that you can have other people to do the homework assignments with, and so that you can get feedback in real time on how to improve it. An example of one assignment that I'm going to be giving you, I will write up 5 different email subject lines for you. And maybe your homework assignment is to find a creative way to use this email subject line in an email campaign this week. And then another assignment idea that I have for you guys, I'm going to send you a GIF. And I'm going to say, find a creative way to use this GIF, and here are the rules that you have to follow when using it for your email campaigns. And those are just some fun things that I plan to do with you guys, as well as having some video content inside of the community and platform for you too. So some tools that I love using, back to the question that I originally asked Whitney, was what tools do I like to use? What tools make creating content easier? And I talked about this tool with y'all for probably like the last year or so. One of my favorite marketing tools is Zapier. If you do not use Zapier, you need to be using Zapier. Zapier is an automations tool. With Zapier, it means that you can create a flow that's going to trigger repetitive processes to happen completely on their own. So for example, if you're a service provider, every time somebody pays an invoice, you can automatically send them contracts. You can automatically send them through the client onboarding process, send them videos explaining what's happening next, and keep them informed. It's going to help you improve your customer processes. Another example, if you are a product-based business, it can help you connect any third-party communication software that you use that may not be inside of Wix or inside of Shopify. Because there are a lot of programs that have not created apps to be used with e-commerce platforms, but they are useful for it. Some ways that I personally use Zapier, you see like you'll see those notifications on my timeline with my tweets, and it'll say Ashley just signed up and downloaded XYZ freebie, and it's gonna help her drive sales to her website. Here's where you can download it. That's the automation with Zapier, and I do that automation for a few different reasons. But one of the main reasons why is when one person sees somebody downloading something from my website, it makes them click. And if they click and download it, 2 people downloading it in a row back to back can convince 5 to 10 other people to go and download it. And just having, 5 to 10 of those automations going every single day on my Twitter account, my email list grows by 50 to 150 new people every single week. it is important that you have a strategy to keep your email list growing consistently, because your email list is going to decay at a 25% rate every 6 months. If you are not actively growing your email list and you're only keeping the same people on there, by the end of the year, 50% of your email list is going to be dead. Automations can help you keep the processes going even when you want to take time off. I took the entire week off last week, and you would never know, because my content was batch created. I had automations going on. My clients were automated, and I was just chilling. I slept in every day, and I got to catch up on The Walking Dead, and I had a really good week, just chilling and doing nothing, right? You can do that even as a small business owner when you don't have the money for a staff. But it's going to take some proper planning, and it's going to require you to invest in some tools. Zapier cost me $70 a month to have unlimited automations. But for that $70 a month, do you know how much a personal assistant costs? I do, because I have an assistant. And my assistant, I have to pay her anywhere, and she's part-time. And she only works 10 hours a week, y'all. I got to pay this lady anywhere from $400 to $800 every 2 weeks, right? If I need her to work extra hours. So you're talking anywhere from $800 to $2,000 a month just to have one person helping you with your business consistently. Or you can pay $70 for a software, and you can learn how to work the software yourself, and then you can hire somebody to manage the software. So instead of having somebody who's working 30 hours a week, now you can have somebody working 5 to 10 hours a week. So when you really, sit down and think about what you want to invest in for your company, instead of thinking like, oh, I need a team, I need to hire this person. Delegating doesn't always mean that you delegate it to a person. Sometimes you delegate to a tool, or you delegate to a software, which is why I really like the tools that Whitney listed, because they're going to help you delegate scheduling your content, right? And help you delegate getting those notifications about your analytics, so that you can kind of keep up with what's going on without always feeling like you got to do a deep dive into your content. So those are some softwares that we like, and that's kind of how automations can make it easier for you. If you want to learn more about Zapier, again, look at the pinned tweet at the top of this space and go sign up for the launch. I already made resources on my website for Zapier. There are 13 resources. If you look at my website and you click on the menu and then you click 72 hours of automations, there are 13 resources. I have made blogs about it. I've made podcast episodes about it. I've made tutorial videos walking you through it. And even with all of that, everything I'm going to give you in the community is so much more valuable, because I'm going to show you how to do it in real time. And you can ask me questions in real time. And you can get help with what you're actually, experiencing. And when you sign up for a software and it's as busy as Zapier, it's going to take them a couple of days to help you, solve the problem that you're having with Zapier, versus coming to like a mini workshop with me and we solving your problems and confusion in real time. You don't have to wait extended times for it. So, that's just something for you to think about. So, are there any final thoughts that you want to share with me before we start allowing them to ask questions?
No, I do just want to add, about how you said putting the cost of the softwares in perspective of hiring a team. Because I know, for me, when I was getting more requests to actually manage people's social media accounts, I could look at something like Hootsuite and say, and I haven't committed to Hootsuite because I want to try a couple other platforms because Hootsuite is pricey. But let's just say I'm paying $100 a month for Hootsuite. But if I'm managing multiple social media accounts that are paying me, and I spend that $100 is an investment to allow me to schedule content so that I can be able to manage more accounts. Because if I had to do that manually, I wouldn't be able, it wouldn't work. And then you made a really good point about, then if you do think about hiring somebody to help you, a virtual assistant or something, if you have these softwares, a lot of times we think, I know for myself, I would think if I need help, I don't even know what I would ask them to do. If you're using these softwares to help you automate things, then something that you could ask the assistant to do would be something like just inputting what you need into the actual scheduler, or actually setting up the automations. You can write out, the plan and the notes or the tweets and everything in Google Docs, and just have somebody actually use the software for you. So they sound expensive, but it's an investment in your business, and it's a lot cheaper than missing out on money because you're spending too much time having to do things manually that you could be spending working on your business.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, like, if you just really take your time and shop around and really try to find good quality contractors that you want to work with, at a minimum, you're going to be paying them 23 plus an hour. At a minimum, you're going to be paying them 23 plus an hour. Because a good contractor who takes what they do seriously, they don't have a lot of clients. And because they don't have a lot of clients, they get paid more. So if you hiring people who charge, $23 to $35 an hour, then they might have like 2 or 3 clients, and working with, each of those clients collectively, they're going to be making a pretty good wage and still get control of their own schedule. So when you start thinking about too, like your annual spending right at the end of the year, you can either spend, less than $1,200 for the entire year to have a really great software that's going to help you automate your processes, your workflows and stuff, right? Or you can spend $10,000 to $15,000 a year having a part-time assistant who may or may not be as efficient as the software will be. So that's something for you to think about, long term. I do want to give y'all a chance to ask some questions. So if you do have any questions about anything that we've discussed so far, you can request to come on stage. And if you missed any part of this, the recording will be shared right after we wrap everything up here on Twitter. I'll also be uploading the recording to my podcast this upcoming weekend. All right, so any final thoughts, Whitney?
No, I'm looking forward to answering any questions that anybody has, even if it's not necessarily on this subject, but if it has to do with content creation, batch creating, any questions like that, feel free.
All right, well, if y'all don't have any questions, okay, Miss Lisa has a question. Let's see, I'm going to allow her to come on stage. All right, you want to ask your question, Miss Lisa? You can take your mic off of mute.
Okay, is that better?
Yes, ma'am.
I launched my site like around 4 months ago, and I haven't made a single sale. So I'm wondering if you had a limited amount of money, like extra money, say $750, like I do have, startup company. I haven't made one sale yet. What would you say would be the best place to put that $750 or $1,000?
I would, before I even thought about spending money, I would look more into what free resources exist for you to learn digital marketing. I would sit down and commit to a course that would actually teach me digital marketing for free. A good course that I recommend would be HubSpot's free digital marketing course. HubSpot has a free online little university, and they go over a ton of things. Like they go over Facebook ads, they go over search engine optimization, email marketing, social media marketing, and how to create content, how to create a strategy. And the courses are taught by professors at different universities from all over the world.
Thank you so much.
I would start with that before I spent a dime paying experts or anything, because the thing that you want to keep in mind is, like, if you're just now getting started in your business, you should be trying to hit the ground running, learning as much as you can. And one of the reasons why when you get ready to hire somebody, you need to be able to test the legitimacy of the people that you're hiring. You need to be able to vet them. And when they send you over their portfolio, their data, and you're looking at these reviews, you need to be able to interpret those things to truly understand what they mean. Because just because they got the results for somebody else doesn't mean that they could get those results for you. So once you commit to taking a couple of those courses and learning the proper skills, I would then commit to email marketing, and I would start trying to grow my email list, and I would start learning copywriting. A book I recommend is How to Write Copy That Sells. The author's name is Ray Edwards. It's one of the best books about copywriting that I've ever read, and one of the reasons why is because he shares formulas and breakdowns on how he writes copy for billboards, for emails, for Facebook ads, for Google ads, and landing pages. So he gives you a lot of examples on a lot of content to work with.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago. I had a problem with I thought it might have been my checkout. I'm like, why aren't I making any sales? And I went to my checkout, and it was not working. So I verified it with a few other people that I know, and they're like, oh yeah, Lisa, your checkout's not working. So I automatically thought, oh well, how much is this going to cost? And then when I found out how much they were going to charge me for fixing it, I was like, I'll just do this myself. So I did exactly that. I researched it myself, and they wanted to charge me $200 for 2 hours. And I did it for free and within a half hour,
Okay, well, for a future reference, I recommend that you download, first, what platform is your website on?
WordPress, WooCommerce.
Okay. Look up this software called Lucky Orange. Lucky Orange is a heat map recording website tool. So that means that it's going to record users on your website so that you can see in real time how they engage. You can see if they are actually scrolling down to the bottom of your product pages. Are they reading the product descriptions? What are they clicking on? And what page are they exiting out of? That way you can keep an eye on things like your website checkout, if any of your web page links are broken, if your website is taking too long to load, and so on and so forth.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Is there anything you want to add, Whitney?
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm not sure can you tell me what type of business you have or what type of products you sell?
I sell jewelry.
Okay.
But it's not just your regular jewelry that you get here. I get it overseas, so it has to go through customs.
Okay.
So, and it's it's as what most Americans know as cubic zirconia. Mm-hmm. I won't sell that stuff. I only sell the highest grade, so it's virtually undetectable. And some of it is moissanite, and 24 karat gold plate. And I also have it customized where I'm actually having my brand on the back of the earring now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the first things that I would do is if you're going to be making any type of video content, I would go on TikTok and search jewelry and use keywords that are maybe similar to the type of jewelry that you have, and I would filter out and look at, you can filter your TikTok search results and see what is the most liked in the last 7 days, the last 30 days. I would look at what is the most liked content within the last 7 days and look and see what those top content videos look like and get ideas of how you don't have to do exactly what they're doing, but you can look at what hashtags are they using, how are their captions written, pay attention to the format of the video. Are they showing the jewelry close up? Are they trying it on with outfits? Are they talking about it? Are they just showing it? Do they have text on the screen? Pay attention to all of those details, and then that'll give you an idea of what types of different content you can experiment with trying that will maybe get you some more views on TikTok. You can also put that on Pinterest. I always say if it works on TikTok, it'll work anywhere. It doesn't work the other way around. If it works on Instagram, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work on TikTok. But if it works on TikTok, it'll work on Instagram, on Pinterest. It'll work on Twitter even. So look at what content for jewelry is working on TikTok, and then you can put that on Pinterest, which will link back to your website. And then you can start from there. If you're wondering why your content's not working, that's something you can do absolutely free to help get you some more website traffic.
All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm glad that we can answer your question for you. If there's anybody else who has any questions, now is going to be your last time to come up on stage. So, don't be scared to ask, guys. There is no such thing as a stupid question, all right? And no question is too simple. If you have that question, 9 times out of 10, somebody else has the exact same question as you. So if you really want to get help with it, please, just go ahead and ask us. We really do want to be helpful for you. All right. DR Smart is coming up on. I'm going to approve your request. All right. Can you say something so we can see if we can hear you?
Sorry. Yeah, through the translation.
Okay.
I was just going to see, have you ever tried Amazon, was it Central Seller?
Yes, I have. That's the affiliate side of it, right?
Yeah. Someone told me about it since I sell things on Amazon, to look into it. I didn't know. Is it really worth the price, you think? Or it just depends, I guess, who you are, I guess.
It depends on what it is you're promoting and the price point that it's being promoted at. If I were to do it again, I would honestly focus on like household things, because I don't know if you get on TikTok, but on TikTok you'll see it's a trend called Amazon made me buy it, or TikTok made me buy it, and they'll go over like cool gadgets and household tools, kitchen tools, home decor. Women do it a lot with wigs and outfits especially, and then they'll be like link in bio if you want to get it too. There's something that's called an Amazon storefront. And I like the term Amazon storefront, and that people be setting them up because it sounds better than saying link in bio. Some people think that you can get shadow banned for saying that in your videos too. So it really just depends on what it is you plan to promote that's on Amazon, the price point of it, the commission offer, and your commitment to actually like driving sales to that. Because I think sometimes people tell us about those things and they make it sound easy, but honestly, I don't feel like affiliate marketing is easy. I feel like it's something that you can do if you're committed to it, but I don't feel like it's just like easy and like the sign-ups or the sales are just going to be rolling in and you're just going to be rolling in dough all the time.
All right, thank you for that.
You're welcome. All right, there's, let's see, Wholesome Queen has a question. All right, you're going to be the last person to ask questions, and then we're going to kind of wrap this up. So if you guys have any more questions, feel free to DM us. But make sure that you check out the pin tweet at the top of this space and sign up for the Content Marketing Community's launch tomorrow afternoon at 1:11 p.m. So what's your question?
Hi, so I have a one-stop shop. And I offer hair care products and personal care products. And I actually signed up I have a website, but I actually signed up to sell on eBay and Amazon. And I'm just trying to figure out, well, really, I forgot the question, but I'm just trying to figure out, is that a good avenue? Like, though I have a website, is it good to set up on other like seller pages like eBay and Amazon?
If you're going to invest in the SEO portion of it, then yes. So are you learning about SEO when you're listing your products on the platform?
Yes. As far as Amazon goes, I'm having a little bit tougher time because it's harder. I don't know if I'm going about it wrong, but I feel like it's kind of harder to sell on Amazon than it is to sell on eBay. eBay, I was able to just upload product and stuff like that. With Amazon, I'm like going through the motions, because the products that I sell, of course, like I'm buying them wholesale and then I'm selling them back. So it's already products on Amazon. So I have to get approval first. So I'm just trying to figure out if I'm going about it the right way.
Okay. I don't specialize in Amazon FBA. I highly recommend, trying to find somebody specifically who does, because when I discuss e-commerce, when I'm doing e-commerce, I'm really mostly talking about people who host on their own platforms, because I know there's a lot of platforms where you can sell products at. There's Etsy, there's eBay, there's Facebook Market and things like that. And selling on these third-party platforms is great for raising brand awareness, but I still feel like the main goal should be to like draw traffic back to your website, because they charge crazy fees to be on those platforms. Like, and the more you sell, the higher your fees are going to be. And it's like, yeah, you're making more money, but it's still going to eat into like the additional money that you can have in your pocket. So it really just depends, like on what your goals are. But I do recommend trying to find somebody specifically who specializes in the Amazon market if you really want to like, dive into that. Because I know that it is a lot and they have a lot of rules. And if you violate any of like their policies or anything in the terms of agreement, and it could be something really small, they will ban your Amazon store and close it.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem. All right. So any final thoughts, Whitney?
No, I just want to I want to say thank you first to everybody who has joined in and listened. If you came in late and you missed the beginning, Tyler will have the full recording on her podcast. But if you haven't, before you go, check out the pinned tweet. We're launching this community tomorrow. We've put a lot of time and thought and energy into it. We're really excited to share it with everybody. It's going to be something that I personally haven't seen done before in this format, where it's going to be a really immersive and interactive community. It's not going to just be a platform where we're just sharing courses and sharing information. You're going to be encouraged to interact and network with other people. So like I've said on my Instagram, but like if you're a business owner, there's going to be influencers in there, and there might be people who you can you'll be able to DM people within the community. You might meet somebody who will do a video for your product. These are going to be other people who are trying to grow their platforms just like you. If you're somebody who struggles with accountability, with staying consistent, and you need an accountability partner, or if you're somebody who, in this day and age, like a lot of us are working from home and we don't get a lot of interaction with other people, especially as entrepreneurs. That's especially hard to find. So not only is it going to be a place where you're going to learn how to get better with your email and your social media content marketing, but it's also going to be a place, we want it to be a safe place where other creatives and business owners can network and support each other. There will be activities where we will encourage you to share your posts and get feedback from other people and go support each other's content. And you might make some other new social media best friends. So please consider, if you haven't already, getting on the wait list so that you can get the information when it launches.
Okay. And I just want to add, thank you, Whitney, for everything that you've done to make this content community like a real thing. For all the late nights you stayed up with me, all the brainstorming, all the content that we've made, all the planning, and just keeping up with me and my madness of sticking to the strategy. So I really appreciate you, and nothing you do goes unnoticed.
Thank you, and likewise, because I would have been this community would not be half of what it is if we didn't partner on this. So I'm really excited. It's really turning into something even bigger than I had imagined. That TikTok where they're like, you think it's small, you need to think big. Well, bringing Tyler in on this is exactly what happened. It's turned into something way bigger than I had even planned. So thank you. And I'm really, really excited to share it with everybody tomorrow.
I'm excited to share too. So if you're excited and you're ready to, take charge of your content, get your business affairs in order, and start driving targeted website traffic and letting go of a fixation on vanity metrics that do not help you with sales, then go ahead and sign up for the Content Marketing Communities launch. We're going to be dropping some more details on it tonight and tomorrow morning too. So thank you to everybody who came. Thank you to everybody who stayed the entire show. I really appreciate it, especially because I see a lot of faces of people who come in, listen to, and hang out with me every single time I do a Twitter space. And I am just so grateful for you and your support and your attendance in this. So I hope y'all have a wonderful night and keep a lookout for everything that I'm going to be sharing. If you truly appreciated this Twitter space, I really would love for you to tweet about it. Tag me and Whitney. I would really love for you guys to go follow Whitney. Let's help her blow up her Twitter account. I want to see her get to 10K followers. So let's make sure that we help that happen. All right, guys. So I hope y'all have a good night and keep an eye out for all the emails and content we're going to be sending out.
Thank you. Good night.